time is 1:15. Here is the news, edited by Dulmin Samrasingha, read by Victor Raj. Here are the headlines of the local news. Government says ready to be flexible on tax policies. Tourist arrivals exceeds 50,000 in December. Christmas Eve services will be held today in Christian churches across the country. The children in public schools to learn German free of charge. Foreign news, Christmas tree in Trafalgar Square has been lit up in front of crowds. Sports news, third day play of the second test match played between India and Bangladesh is in progress in Maipur. Local news in detail. Finance State Minister Ranjit Sembalapatia says tax policies are not written in stone, highlights need to be alternative proposals. If current tax policies are to be amended, says only limited scope to change current tax policies as government's financing sources remain limited. Asserts government revenue needs to be increased at least 17% of GDP. From estimated 11.3% of GDP this year. While stressing the tax policies are not written in stone, the government said it is ready to be flexible to amend such policies, given that there are pragmatic alternative proposals to collect tax revenue foregone. None of these tax policies are written in stone. We are always flexible to listen to your proposals. However, you also need to present alternative proposals. Finance State Minister Ranjit Sembalapatia told the private sector representatives at the inaugural tax seminar series that kicked off yesterday. However, Sembalapatia pointed out that there is only limited scope to change the current tax policies, as the government's finance sources remain limited to maintain public education, public health and social security programs. The tourist arrivals to Sri Lanka for the first 20 days of December have crossed 50,000, indicating a significant improvement in tourism activities. The provisional data released by the Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority showed that for the December 1st to 20th period, a total of 50,375 international visitors entered the country. This brings the total tourist arrivals for the year so far from January 1st to December 20th to 678,392. Accordingly, the daily arrival average improved to 2,518. In the previous month, the daily arrival average was below 2,200. Analysis of the weekly arrival numbers shows that for the first 20 days, the tourist arrivals were above 16,000 for the first 3 weeks of the month. In the first week, from December 1st to 7th, the tourist arrivals reached 16,169, whereas in the second week, the arrivals totaled 16,418. In the first 5 days of December 15th to 20th, the tourist arrivals reached 17,788. The Russian Federation continues to remain as the largest tourist traffic generation for destination of Sri Lanka, accounting for 22% of the total tourist arrivals for the first 20 days of December. The Christian people engage celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ in spiritual preparation. The birth of Jesus is celebrated every year on the 25th day of December by the Christians across the globe. It is commonly known as Christmas. Christmas Eve services will be held today in Christian churches across the country. Today's midnight mass are scheduled to take place at 11:45 p.m. The diocese bishops will congregate. Special security arrangements have also been made in churches across the country for Christmas Day. Meanwhile, Navy Christmas Carol 2022 on the theme, May Your Days Be merry and bright, and may all your Christmas be white. Organized by the Navy Christian Council in collaboration with the Navy Seva Vanitha Unit and Navy Band, was held at the Admiral Somathilakalizanayake Auditorium in Naval Headquarters on the 23rd December 2022. Each December, the Navy carols are sung to ring in the Christmas season, an annual tradition that has become one of the most anticipated events of the year. Following the directives of the Commander of the Navy, this special program has been organized in view of the forthcoming Christmas. The evening was made more colorful by the rendition of Christmas classics performed by the naval personnel, their family members and Navy band and dancing troupe. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Continuing with more local news, the German Cultural Institute and the Ministry of Education have come together to facilitate a project to help children in public schools to learn German free of charge. Regional Program Coordinator managing the project in the North Central Province, Jayara Dampahalage, addressing a ceremony held at Polonnaruwa at the launch of the inaugural teaching classes for principals and teachers of 25 selected schools in Polonnaruwa, said that learning the new language would be a gateway to great economic power. She said that the German Cultural Institute would conduct a program countrywide. As a pilot project, it would first teach 100 teachers selected from 25 schools in North Central Province for the project. Vice-Chancellor of the Rajarata University, Professor Sanjeevani Ginigedara, was the chief guest of the ceremony, followed by the 2-day residential workshop for teachers and principals. Chairman of the Elections Commission of Sri Lanka, Nimal Punchiheva, says the date for the local government election will be announced before the 5th of January 2023. The announcement was delayed by a few days due to several factors. Although the NEC previously said the date will be announced before the end of December, he further noted the calling of nominations will begin 14 days after the announcement. In the meantime, Executive Director of the PAFRL, Rohan Hettiaraj, said he will resort to administrative action against the Election Commission if the date isn't announced before the 5th of January. That ends local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
A special awareness program to support the Committee on Public Accounts, COPA, regarding the further expansion of the evaluation process in public sector was held in Parliament recently, with the participation of COPA members. The officers of Sri Lanka Evaluation Association briefed the committee members in this program, which was chaired by COPA Chairman, Chamber of Parliament, Honorable Kabir Hazim. It was also discussed regarding the completion of the National Evaluation Draft Bill and implementation of the recommendations of the Parliament Select Committee. Also, facts were presented about the possibility of establishing an evaluation unit when establishing a budget office in Parliament. The need to speed up the preparation of the National Evaluation Policy was also emphasized here. Emphasizing the need for the formal national evaluation process, the COPA chairman said that this program is a preliminary discussion and that he expects to discuss this more widely in the future and take the necessary steps expeditiously. That ends main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Watch Life is brought to you by
Let's celebrate Christmas and New Year with CIB, with special gifts, discounts and easy payment schemes available till 31st of December. Come to CIB today.
The appointments made for December 26, 2022 to obtain passports have been rescheduled. The Department of Immigration and Immigration says The decision was taken after government declared December 26th a special public holiday. In a notice, the Immigration and Immigration Department requests the general public to avoid visiting its head office and regional offices on the aforementioned day. That is the 26th day of 2022, December. That ends Watchlight.
Let's celebrate Christmas and New Year with CIB, with special gifts, discounts and easy payment schemes available till 31st of December. Come to CIB today.
World News, brought to you by courtesy of...
We give you the strength to rise higher and higher.
Never step back, but always march forward.
Empowering you to reach greater heights. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
World News headlines first. The Christmas tree in Trafalgar Square has been lit up in front of crowds. Indian Prime Minister urged people to wear masks in crowded places. The UK electricity grid focus, record costs for power stations cranking up. World News in detail. The Christmas tree in Trafalgar Square has been lit up in front of crowds in the special festive ceremony. The event marked 75th year of the London receiving a large tree from Norway to install in the central London square. The country sends a native spruce every Christmas to then thank the UK for its support in the World War II. In an up-to Christmas programs of people will gather to sing carols at the base of the tree, which will stand in the square until 6th of January. About 500 lights adorning the tree were lit up by the Mayor of Oslo, Marianne Bargen, along with the Lord Mayor of the Westminster, Hamza Tauzel. Tauzel says it really is a beautiful tree and he would like to encourage everyone to make an effort to come and see it and celebrate its wonderful gift from Norway. The Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, also attended the ceremony on Tuesday evening, which included festive musical performances. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Thursday urged people to wear masks in crowded places and called on states and officials to strengthen COVID-19's surveillance and hospital preparedness. A media release from the PMO said Modi, who chaired a meeting on the COVID-19 with officials, said precautions doses of the vaccine may be encouraged, especially for the elderly and vulnerable groups. The center announced that 2% incoming international travelers would be randomly tested starting Saturday. Samples found positive will be genomes sequenced. No COVID-19 rules were issued. India has witnessed a steady decline in COVID-19 cases over the past several months, and the average daily new cases fell to 153 over the past week, from over 330,000 daily cases at the peak of the country's third wave, driven by the Omicron variant in January this year. The UK electricity grid faces record costs for power stations cranking up output in emergencies this year as it grapples with a balanced supply to demand in the face of Europe's energy crisis. National Grid plc paid $3.85 billion between January and October in so-called balancing costs, according to data from the company's electricity system operator compiled by the Nuclear Industry Association. Ultimately, that cost will be reimbursed by consumers. That is an increase of more than 20% over last year's total bill. With 2 months of figures yet to release, the grid has to balance supply and demand when markets are tight. Usually in the colder months, it means having to secure supplies quickly when necessary, sometimes at sky-high costs, which has seen operators making big profits. To wrap up the world news, let's take a look at the headlines once again. The Christmas tree in Trafalgar Square has been lit up in front of crowds. Indian Prime Minister urged people to wear masks in crowded places. The UK electricity grid faces record costs for power stations cranking up. That ends World News.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
Amidst all challenges, we will rally around you and advance.
In the face of hardships, let's stand strong together.
Empowering you to reach greater heights. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
Development News.
The Wildlife Department is testing a new safety net to save the lives of mountain tigers caught in the jungles and snares. In order to protect the lives of mountain tigers from the bushes and traps set by various people for the purpose of hunting animals, the Wildlife Department tested a new protective net yesterday at Nuvarelia's Galveston estate. The trial of this safety net took place with the participation of the Minister of Agriculture, Wildlife and Forest Resources Conservation, Mahinda Amaravira. In the past, the main reason for not being able to save the lives of the mountain tigers that were caught in the bushes and traps set by the hunters is that the animals caught in the traps are violent and attack the wildlife officers. Minister Mahinda Amaravira had instructed the Wildlife Department to try out a new safe work order for taking. During this year, around 6 mountain tigers have died due to getting caught into the bushes planted by people. Also, the wildlife officials were able to save the lives of 5 tigers. That came to you on Development News. Moving on to sports news. Defending champions Jaffna Kings beat Colombo Stars by 2 wickets in the final encounter of 2022 Lanka Premier League LPL on Friday to secure the title for the 3rd time. Jaffna Kings won the toss and elected to bowl first in the match played at the R. Premadasa Stadium in Colombo. Set to chase 164, the Kings finished the game in the last over with the match to register a dramatic victory. Rahmanullah Garbaz and Sadira Samaravikrama led from the front as the Kings enjoyed the title. On the flip side, Colombo Stars came close with their fiery bowling towards the end but ultimately fell short. Meanwhile, 3rd day of the second test match being played in Maypur between India and Bangladesh. Bangladesh has scored 71 at the loss of 4 wickets when the match was stopped for lunch. That came to you on Sports News.
The fastest way to earn the highest interest, an interest rate of 22% in 4 months. NSB, the safest place for your money.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
SLT Orbital, the national ICT solution provider, and Google Cloud have announced a partnership focused on jointly boosting collaboration and provide customers with the digital tools serving the evolving needs of the citizens in the rapidly digitalizing economy. Partnering the Google Cloud will enable SLT Orbital to expand its offerings beyond connectivity, creating greater value and driving digital transformation. Initially, SLT Orbital will roll out the use of Google Workshop communication and collaboration apps, including Gmail, Chat, Calendar, Drive, Docs, Sheets, Meet, and more, to make the transition to digital easier for small and medium enterprises. In future plans, SLT Orbital aims to draw on the tech giant's portfolio of cloud-based solutions to help customers achieve greater agility and efficiency. That came to you on Business News.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The fastest way to earn the highest interest, an interest rate of 22% in 4 months. NSB, the safest place for your money.
Moving on to economic news, in view of enhancing awareness of trade and investment opportunities available in Sri Lanka, the Deputy High Commissioner of Sri Lanka in Chennai, together with Southern Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, organized Doing Business with Sri Lanka, a business discussion on 20th December 2022 at SICC Auditorium in Chennai. Addressing the meeting, President Arun and Secretary Vinod Solomon of SICCI warmly welcomed the Deputy High Commissioner and highlighted the long-standing bilateral relations between Sri Lanka and India. Deputy High Commissioners of Sri Lanka in Chennai, Dr. Venkateshwaran, highlighted the potential investment avenues available in Sri Lanka and facilities and incentives being provided by the government to foreign traders and investors. He invited an investor delegation to Sri Lanka next year. That ends economic news.
Weather report.
The depression of Southwest Bay of Bengal, located 370 km to the northeast of Trincomalee, it is very likely to cross Sri Lanka during the subsequent 48 hours. Under the influence of this system, rainy and windy conditions are likely to increase over most parts of the island next few days from today, the 24th, 25th and 26th of December. Showers will occur at times in northern, eastern, north-central and northwestern provinces. Heavy showers above 100 mm can be expected at times. Showers or thunder showers will occur at several places in elsewhere during the afternoon or night. Strong gusty winds of about 40 to 50 km per hour can be expected at times over the northeastern, northwestern, western and Sabargama provinces and in Gol and Mathura districts. Further details could be obtained by visiting the official website of the department. Meanwhile, the international weather forecast website accuweather.com reports that the day's weather was cloudy. Today's daytime temperature was observed to be around 28 Celsius. Tonight's temperature will be around 27 Celsius and there will be a scattered showers in selected spots late in the night. The ground temperature would be 27 Celsius at the time of this news broadcast. The air quality index AQI is 35. The air quality is generally acceptable for most individuals. However, sensitive groups may experience minor to moderate symptoms from long-term exposure. That came to you on Weather Report. To wrap up the afternoon news on Radio Sri Lanka, let's take a look at the headlines once again. The government says ready to be flexible on tax policies. Tourist arrivals exceed 50,000 in December. Christmas Eve services will be held today in Christian churches across the country. The children in public schools to learn German free of charge. Foreign news, the Christmas tree in Trafalgar Square has been lit up in front of crowds. Sports news, third display of the second test match between India and Bangladesh in Mayapur is in progress. That ends the afternoon news broadcast.